Okay, here we
Okay,
go. Here's
everybody.
my part two.
Perfect. Thank you, Gwen. Thanks for everybody for being here. As I said just briefly a little bit ago, the binary system is such an amazing tool for multi-level. There are so many different ways that compensation plans are set up. The binary is the only one that I feel has been really successful for me. And I'm sure a couple of you have heard me say that before. I love binary. So when I saw that Healy and this device was partnered with the binary system, I was very excited and I jumped in. So we're going to look a lot at your binary genealogy graph, your actual tree, because there's a lot of questions on where to put people, how to place people, how they go into the system. It's very hard to describe over the phone. So I'm excited to have a recording that we can send to our new people just for that fact. So you find your binary genealogy and you go to your back office and you click on My Organization. So here on, we have all of this on atp123.com if you need to go back and look at these. But how you get into your back office is this web address, partner.healyworld.net/login. It will bring you to this page. So you put in your back office login information. Okay. And then over here on the left, I'd like you to look at, there's your dashboard. Here it says My Organization. When you click on that, the drop-down menu is subheadings, and one of them is binary genealogy. Now you would think that since we're looking at a tree genealogy would be the graph. It's not. It's the binary genealogy. And so when you click on that, this is what you see. So again, this can be a little bit confusing, especially if people have not done multi-level before, but hopefully these slides will give you some insight. Okay, so this is your Healy Business Center. When you go into your back office, this is you. You have a left leg and a right leg. A binary system is a left team and a right team. And the goal is to have as many partners and points and sales on one leg as the other, but really realistically, that's not going to happen. You're always going to have one leg that has a little bit more volume. There's been a little bit more sales, and there may even be a lot more members that are attributed to that leg. But you have two teams, and that's how you start out. Everybody starts out the same. So in the matrix, you have two legs in your downline. You create a standalone business. And in other multi-level companies where they go wide instead of deep, you can have 10 different organizations across your front line or unlimited. And really when you're placed in one of those, you are kind of stranded on your own. You are running your own business. And what I really like about the binary system is that everybody starts helping each other. So you create a standalone business in your own, and yet you are part of a team effort, always. There's always going to be a team effort because you're building down, and you're building down to infinity. So educating your downline on all of this will create your success. So definitely take the time to learn more about this so that when you bring people in, you can describe it, explain it, but then also have the resources to send them information like this video. And then I just want to reiterate, because there's a lot of people who don't believe this, but there are no bad positions in a binary matrix, ever. The binary matrix just works. So here we are back at your Healy Business Center. You have your left and your right leg. Now, it is important for you to find out which leg your sponsor put you on, because whatever that leg is, that is your team leg. Okay, so you're eventually going to have what you see as your team leg and your personal team leg, because really every leg becomes a team leg. But for starters, we need to know, where did your sponsor place you? And you can ask them. And what if your sponsor doesn't know? Because we are going to run into people who are running hot and heavy and they love this Healy and they're sharing it with everybody, but they're not necessarily getting into the business end of it yet. And they may not know where they put you. So there's two things that you can do. You can have them look in their binary genealogy to locate your position. And how you do that is, let me go back here and show you. See this little box here, this little search box. If you put in anybody in your downline, if you put their name or their username, it will autofill and you can click search. For a while it wasn't working. I've tested it recently and it was working, but then it will take you right to where that person is in your downline. Okay, so that's one way, is you have them look in their binary genealogy to locate your position. The other way is when you go into your back office, it may not look like this. You may not have just 2 unplaced partner spots below you. You may have what looks like this on your left leg or your right leg. We're like, I don't know who that person is. Who are these people? Well, if you have people that are placed underneath you and you personally did not put them there, that is your team leg. Those are positions that were filled from your sponsor above you. So on this left leg over here, your sponsor actually is up here, and on your right leg, your sponsor's up here. So this is one way to look. So some of you will come in and it'll look just like this, and you know exactly where you're at if you're on the right or the left leg because your sponsor told you, or you don't know. And so those are the 2 ways you find out. You have them look in their binary genealogy to locate your position. If they don't know or don't know how to get into their back office because they just haven't been paying attention, find out who their upline is and contact them. This is a team effort. So keep searching until you find somebody that will help you find out this information before you place anybody. Okay, so but if you come in your back office and you see this screen and you've got some people here that are placed and you don't know their names, that is your team leg. So just make a note, my team leg is my left leg, or my team leg is my right leg. Okay, so this is just another example of that. The leg that your sponsor has put you on is your team leg. So your sponsor may not be right above you. Your sponsor may be several spots above you, but this is just for just for us to look at here. Your sponsor would be above you here, and this would be, again, your team leg. Your left leg would be team, and over here your right leg would be team. Okay, and each of these positions has another leg, if you can see that here. Sometimes it's hard to draw a graph or put a graph up on the screen that you can really see the designation, but if this is the sponsor and you are on his or her right leg, this is their left leg on this illustration. For you, this is your right leg, and this over here is your left. And then again, here at the bottom, where people still need to be placed, that is this particular business center's right and left leg. So sometimes these graphs can be a little confusing. If you kind of follow the red line, at least in Healy's back office, follow the red line, you can find out what the left and right teams are. Once you know all of this, you can start building. So these are the 3 simple steps, simple for binary, that I want to teach you tonight, and it will open up so much more in your brain about what's been holding you back limitation-wise. So the first step is to place a partner on each leg, because in order to be qualified for all the different compensation and bonuses that we can get from Healy, we have to have an active business center on the left, and we have to have a active business center on the right that we personally sponsored. We are going to have a lot more people below us as we move forward with this business that we have not personally sponsored. But in order for us in our business center to get our commissions and our bonuses and be qualified for those, we have to have a business center on each side. So that's the key thing, is place one partner on each leg. We'll go into a little bit more in depth about who we might place there. Number 2, place 3 partners on the team leg. Just plan on placing 3 partners. This is interesting because the majority of people who go into a multi-level business will bring in about 3 to 5 people. Okay, some will bring in a lot more, some will bring in less, but the majority of people invite about 3 to 5 people. And if everybody in this particular setup does that, this is a win, 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 win over and over again. And so you'll see that as we move forward. The third is to teach every single partner that you bring in to do this exact same thing. So take a picture of this screen, screenshot it, whatever. These are your steps. This is what you follow. Place a partner on each leg, place 3 partners on the team leg, teach every partner to do the same. Okay, so you're placing a new partner. Here's your left and your right leg. And again, to qualify for all commissions and bonuses, you have to have an active one. at the bottom here is atp123.com. If you go to the tab First Steps and click on Invite New Members, that will show you how to invite members. There's a couple of different ways. Okay, in your back office, how we want to place partners when they do go in and sign up is we go to My Organization and click on that, and it autofills these subheadings. And then we go down here to Unplaced Partners, and there will be the name, when their sign up date, and then the company always defaults to the left. So this binary system will always default to the left. You can click on the drop-down menu and it'll say place to the right. So when you are looking at your binary tree, if you've already placed somebody to the left, then obviously you want to place them to the right. And these positions cannot be moved as of right now, especially with customer service being backed up just a little bit. So really study your tree. You might want to even, take a sheet of paper out and write down who you're bringing in and where, strategize, see where would be the best place to put them. After tonight, you'll have a better idea of where to put them before you actually click Place Now, because once they're placed, they're placed. Okay. Once you've placed your first two, then you at the top can only place people to your outside left or right positions. This is the hardest thing to describe over the phone to somebody. So that's why this recording is so important that we do, because these outside positions are the only place that you, in your business center, can place somebody. You cannot place somebody on the inside of any of these. As we go on, you'll see it's more in depth. This particular place right here is this business center's left leg or their personal team leg. And this position over here is this business center's personal team leg to their right. Explaining to somebody the difference between how my team leg might be my left, but your team leg might be your right. That is confusing. Again, we'll get into more in depth on the team part. But just if you can visualize right now, you can only place people to the outside spots that are available. You can't place to the inside. There are some multi-level companies, and you're going to get some people that join and say, oh, well, I was able to just go in and click that unplaced partner right there and put my person there. That's not how Healy works. That's not how they have it set up. These are specifically for these individuals to place. Okay. So your new partners, again, will go on the outside left or the outside right. This is just a more broad, blown up version of what we just looked at, but where you would be placing someone if you brought them in. So if we go back up to this slide, if you click, and let's say this is Martha. If you clicked Place Now and it shows left leg, that person is Martha's gonna be right here. Okay, Martha doesn't go anywhere except to the outside. If you decided that Martha was had some connection with some of the people here, you might click that drop down and say click to the right, place her on the right leg, and she would go here. So again, it's the outside left and the outside right. People going in and looking at their binary genealogy, this is really confusing sometimes, so we just want to make that distinction. Again, you can't place anybody on the inside spots. Those are other people's legs. Okay, so hopefully that's starting to look. So here you are at the top, and where can you place partners? If this is your left leg and this is your right leg. Now this is a little misleading because this is pretty strong team here, but really this is your right leg. So your partners would go here and to the left here. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, it's a little confusing because this left team on this particular example is really nice and big. This right leg needs a little help, so probably, unless the person you're placing has some connections with people over here, you would be placing them here because you want your legs to be as even as possible. And again, none of those spots are available for you. And originally it looked like maybe you'd be able to put it down here, but no, it's going to go here or it's going to go there. Okay. So which legs, if this is you, which legs are your left legs and your right legs? Because again, this can be confusing to look at. Well, if we follow the red line, here is your left, 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 and here is your right, right, right. And I'm sorry if this sounds kindergarten-y, but really this is hard to describe over the phone. So I want to make sure everybody really gets the idea that this is the left leg, this is the right leg, follow the red lines. Okay. So if this is you, where can you place new partners? If this is your left leg and your right leg, and there's 4 open spots at the bottom, they will go to the outside, right and left. So in your back office, if you're placing Martha again, and you keep it saying to the left and say place now, that's where Martha would be. Now what we need to have the distinction of is that that person is your personally sponsored position. So even though we have 1, 2, 3, 4 positions between you and your next person that you brought in as a partner, it doesn't mean that you get less commission off of them. They are your personally sponsored people. And that's why this is a hybrid binary, is that these aren't just your 2 positions, it's whoever you personally place. They are your frontline sponsored positions. And for the matching bonus, that's really important. We went over that a little bit on part 1. Again, you can't place anybody on the inside. The only reason that someone that you know that you're bringing into the business would be placed anywhere in here is because you've given up your sponsorship. So maybe you had Aunt Martha over here and you decided to place your son here. That would mean that you went into her back office, or that you sent your son or whoever to her website, and she is now the sponsor of that person. So the only way to put people on the inside is because you've given up your sponsorship. So if this is your sponsor up here, where can your sponsor place new partners? Because that's going to happen. So if your sponsor wants to place, that's a little more confusing. But if you look at the red lines, this is your sponsor's left leg, and this is your sponsor's right leg. So they can place people here to the outside right and the outside left of their legs. They can't place anybody down here on your right leg. That's going to go here. Their people are going to go here, or this position right here might have somebody to place, and they would place them down here. Same with these 3 positions. If they have anybody to place, it's going to be here. Hopefully this is starting to make a little bit more sense when you look at this genealogy. So all of this activity creates spill. And so a lot of people want to know what spill is, because people who haven't done multi-level before and haven't been in a compensation plan where there is spill don't know what it is. Spill is just the placement of people down below your organization that you also get to reap the benefits of them being in your organization. So let's go into that a little bit deeper. Okay, spill is when your sponsor places a partner below you. So if this is your sponsor here, I'm looking at the left. If your sponsor's here and they place you, but what if your sponsor has 1 or 2 more people to place? They put you here, and then the next person they place on their left goes right below you. You did not personally sponsor them, they did, but they are placed below you, and there are benefits to that, which we will look at. And if they have another person to place here. If you are on your sponsor's right leg and they put some people below you, they're going to go to the outer right of you in both of those places. So you may receive spill from above, but don't count on it. Don't let that be your driving force for your business. As we go along here, you'll see why that's not important, and you're just going to build your own business. And if you get spill, it's an amazing bonus, and you just look at it as a gift. So you create spills or spill from your partners for your partners below you. So here you're at the top of your business center, and where you create spill is when you bring someone in and you put them clear down on the bottom left, outside bottom left, and the outside bottom right. All of these people did not sponsor that person, but they get to take advantage of the points and the sale points from those positions that are placed below them. So it really is, it's just a huge benefit. That's why I love Binary, because it becomes a team. You start out having your own business center, and then you develop a team. Okay, so this is a different way to look at Binary, but it just made it easier for me to illustrate what we're going to do here. How does spill affect you? So here again, this is just another way to do it. Here's your sponsor at the top, and here's you. Here is your left leg. Your right leg isn't shown here, but your sponsor's right leg is. Okay, so how does this spill affect you? Well, your sponsor, since they placed this person below you, they get to take advantage of the direct commission off of that sale. So if this person bought a gold, your sponsor would receive $75 in commission off of the direct sale. However, each sale comes with it, remember, the point volume. So you have 250 points that are associated with that Healy Gold purchase. And now you have in your downline 250 points that will go towards your dual leg bonus. You won't receive direct commission on that sale, but you get to count the points. So you do not get the direct commission on these sales, but you do get to count the points. The points earned from the sale become part of your cumulative volume, and you get to take advantage of those. And it gets even better. You get to count the points of that person's entire team. So whatever they do in their downline, you get to count the points from that. So in order to be active and receive all of that commission, you again have to have somebody on your left and your right team. But all of those points all of the points generated from this particular organization that had nothing to do with you, you may not even know this person or any of their downline. But guess what? You get to count the points from their commission sales. So here, let's go back to that genealogy that we have in our back office. And so again, we're looking at your sponsor places someone below you. This is you. This is your tree, your left and your right leg. Your sponsor places this person. Your sponsor will receive the commission off of whatever's generated sale-wise from this business center. Okay? But you get to take that whole team's points, whatever's earned, and those get directed back to you, as does it the person between you and that person. So this person also gets to take advantage of all of these points as well. Now, the only way to take advantage of the points is to also be accruing points on the opposite leg. So remember I said we needed to be qualified, we have to have 2 people that we've signed up, 1 on each leg, and they have to be active, and we have to be building the other leg to hopefully match up with the leg that's, in this case, going gangbusters. Okay, so this is where we get into those steps that we talked about earlier. And this is where it gets really, really exciting. Okay, so the leg opposite of your team leg, and again, your sponsor's up here, so the blue line represents your team leg. The opposite leg is your personal team leg. And that'll make more sense in a minute. This is your team leg because you're getting spill from above. And this is your personal team leg. And remember, we need to put someone on each leg. So as you're putting somebody here on this personal team leg, then you are if you're sponsoring them, you're getting the commission and you're getting to count the points that are remaining. If this person sponsors this person below, then that's creating spill for this person, right? Okay, so this person is going to get commission off of who they brought in, but all the cumulative points belong to you as well. And you start creating spill for all the people down below. Your personal leg, because you are creating spill from above, your personal leg also becomes these partners' team leg. So now this is where it can get a little confusing, so just bear with me. Your team leg is here because you have a sponsor above you that potentially could place people down below you. But because here, there's nobody above you to place down below, you are the one that creates the spill for these team members. And so just like this leg for you, that becomes this leg for them. So that's why when you're talking to somebody over the phone and you say your team leg and your personal team leg, or your personal leg, it gets confusing because my team leg could be my left leg and your team leg could be your right leg. When you're trying to talk to somebody over the phone, that's a little confusing. But here you're seeing it visual, so you understand that I'm getting spill from this side, so this is my team leg. But then this person here, this person's getting spill from above, so that's their team leg. Okay, so as we move on, I'm just trying to do different illustrations here so you understand that, again, you've got a personal leg and a team leg. Your personal leg becomes their team leg. But these partners also have their own personal team leg, okay? So all of you should be laughing about right now because here we are with, this is your original team leg in this particular illustration. This is your team leg. This is your personal team leg. For these people, this is their team leg, and these dotted lines are their personal team leg. Over here, these people who are also on your team leg in this illustration, this is also their team leg. But the one to the inside is their personal team leg, because when they place people there, they will also be creating a team leg for those partners. So in this particular instance right here, this person's team leg is their left leg. Their personal team leg is their right. But for anybody they place right along this dotted line, their right will be considered their team leg. So let's go back again, and we're going to look at this from a real simplistic nature. When you come in, you want to place a partner on each leg, a business building partner on each leg, and 3 partners on the team leg. Okay, more if you can, but start out with that because that's reachable for most people. And then teach every partner to do the same. So we're going to go through this again. Place 1 partner on each leg. Okay, so let's go back and look, and let's continue with this illustration that this left leg is your team leg. For you, it may be your right. Just bear with me if it's not. Let's just say for analogy purposes, this is going to, illustration purposes, this is your team leg. Now, it would be really nice in a binary system to not have to worry about a team too much. So you could just focus on one leg, focus on one of your teams. And that's why binary can be so impactful, because you do have typically help from above so that you can direct more of your attention to that personal leg. So by putting someone here on your left leg, in this instance, if your team leg is your left leg, you would want to place somebody over here who is maybe they know about multi-level, maybe they've been in multi-level before, maybe they have a following, they understand the product, they're excited about it, and they have a following. Maybe they're a Pilates instructor, maybe they're a massage therapist, maybe they're a chiropractor, maybe they're part of a gym and they know everybody in the gym. Maybe they just have a big following, maybe they're part of a seniors club and they're all so interested in health that this is going to be amazing for them. You want to put somebody over in this position that has understanding of the system, other than the learning curve of Healy, that understands the basics of what multi-level is, that they're excited about the product, and they have people in their world to share it with. So the people that you put on your team leg, that's what you want to look for, because we want to make every team leg, which is every leg, one that people are helping each other. Now, in this illustration, as we're moving forward, this right is your personal team leg. This might be where you want to put your brother, or you know, your aunt, or a friend that maybe isn't quite, oh, I don't understand it really, maybe I want to do that. And maybe the encouragement of you putting people below them would encourage them to build their personal team leg. But on your team, on your main team leg, you want to put people that are a little bit more business-minded. If you have everyone in your world that's business-minded, go you. Okay, so again, now we're going to go to step 2. Here's you. Now you've got your person on your right and your left, and now you're placing a couple more people on that team leg. So we're going to teach everybody. Place someone on your left and your right leg, and place 3 partners on the team leg. okay? Place one new partner on both legs and keep learning about the Healy. Don't ever stop. Just keep learning about what it does. I learn something new every day about it. It's very cool. So keep learning so that you can share. Place 3 partners on your team leg. This one I made the right, the team leg. So this would be this person's team leg. Okay, keep learning about the Healy. Keep sharing it. Give it to somebody. Let them take it overnight. I have a couple of Healys out right now with people, and they're so excited because they slept great and they were going to use energy today. Let them borrow it for the night. Teach all of your new partners to do the exact same thing. Put one person on each leg so you have a business center that's active on both legs. Put 3 people on the team leg. Okay, now let's watch this grow. You brought this person in and you said, hey, what I want you to concentrate on is I want you to put a new partner on both legs. And on the team leg here, I want you to put somebody who is familiar with the product or loves electroceuticals, is excited about it, is in a place where they could really share it with people, okay? So you've got your person over here, and then they've placed that person down below because remember, you brought your 3 in, so now this person is down below. What did they just do? They just created spill for these people. They just created more momentum and more excitement, okay? Now they're gonna bring in a couple more people on that team leg. What did that do to that team leg? And what did it do to your team leg? Oh my gosh, if you're doing the same on this side, which I'm not gonna illustrate here because that's a lot of arrows to draw, but if you're doing it on your other leg, you're doing the same thing. You're encouraging everybody to do what this person did. This is one person, and now you've accumulated business centers and sales. They're not these people are not your direct sales, so you don't get the direct commission. Guess what you get? You get the points. So if every single one of these people bought resonances, you just picked up 1,250 points per business center for your next month's dual bonus. Teach all of these people. Have this person teach all of these people to do the same and be talking to these people about doing the same. And you're doing the same thing on this side. Okay, so now we have 1 here. Brought in 1, brought in 1. Again, I'm not filling out this side. I'm only going this side right now. Bring 1 on each side. Bring in 3. Okay, now this person brought in 1, and this person is taught, bring 1 on each side. And now this person is going to be told to put 3 on their team leg. Now, since this is the sponsor who brought this person in, then that means that this is their team leg, and they're going to fill it in. This is their team leg, and they're going to fill it in. This is their team leg, and they're going to fill it in. But look at this person right here, this spot. This person brought in this person and this person. Brought in the other 2 for the team leg, but then told this person, bring 1 in on your left and on your right, and put a couple more people on your team leg. So now look at this person. This person, all they did was talk to these couple of people, and already they're building a downline. Same thing with this one. They're already building a downline. So many times I think we bring people in and they get stagnant because they don't know what to do. But if you follow this plan, you have given them a key to insurmountable success, because everybody brings on average 3 to 5 people to the table. And if those 3 to 5 people are seeing the Healy, using the Healy, they understand, and you teach them the binary. If they don't understand it right away, get them in front of tools like this where they can learn how to do it. The excitement is amazing, and your team will grow exponentially. Every leg becomes a team leg. So when you hear other compensation plan, they'll talk about the power leg and the payout leg. All of them are payout legs. Every single one of them. Every leg has the potential to grow into this huge organization. Okay, so here this person, I can get my arrow there, this person brought in this person and this person, okay? And then brought in this person, I don't have an arrow there, but brought in there and brought in these. Okay, so we're gonna get to a place here where what happens if people get placed and then they don't do anything. This person brought in this person brought in this person. But here sits this person, and they're not getting any spill because these people either just came in and decided they didn't like it, or they haven't been activated yet. They haven't seen the vision, which can always happen a little bit later on. But what happens when this person is sitting out here with just feeling like, I don't have spill? That's why you may get spill. Just keep saying you may get spill, but you don't have to get spill, because what can happen is you teach them the exact same thing. 3 simple rules. You put person on the left and a person on the right, and then put a couple of people on your team leg, and you teach all of them to do the exact same thing. So there are no bad positions. The only bad positions in a binary are the ones that don't utilize it and they don't decide to do something with it because for whatever reason. But every single position has the capability of doing something amazing. So let's go back here. Which are team legs and which are personal team legs? Because when you're looking at your binary, it's a little bit different than this, okay? So your team leg is this one. If we're following what we did before, the team leg is this one. And then the personal legs are all the ones to the inside. Okay. As a sponsor, assist your downline. Do 3-way calls with them, do meetups, do the Healy parties, the Healy show and tells, be involved, listen to your videos in the back office, do all of that. And you really only need to do an hour or 2 a day, maybe, or several hours a week just to be involved. Share your upline communication with your downline. Make sure that all your downline is getting emails. If they're not on your email list, put them somewhere. And if you cannot be their support, lead them to the support. If you get in and you're like, you know what, I thought I was going to be able to do this, but I just really can't do this. Make sure that they know who they can be in contact with. Make sure you put them in contact with your upline sponsor so they have somebody to connect with, because they may be the difference between your retirement or not. So if you are teaching them to reach out as well, even if you can't be the go-between, make sure that you are leading them to the support. You won't regret it. That is the end of my show. So I'm sure we have tons of questions, and I didn't number those slides. I can always go back through them if people need me to. So Gwen, if you want to go back, we can take some questions.
Hold on, I just had to unmute myself. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so what I think I'd like to do, and we have a lot of people on the call, so I want to make sure that we get to the questions. That was awesome, and I think it is a really good, clear explanation, and the visual helps a lot over just having this conversation on a phone call, which is impossible.
Yes.
And are you going to put this on the ATP 123 website so people can also share it with other people?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, good. All right, so I guess can we start with the questions I have that have accumulated since last Tuesday and then go to live questions? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave your screen up because on my screen you're not going to see anything except questions and people's emails, and they may not want their emails shared. So I'll just go into what I have here. So let's see. Okay, first of all, I kind of had them open, but then I was in the Zoom thing, so I had to get back to it. Okay. Okay, so these questions Maria and I will both answer the best we can, and they're all good questions. It might be easier if I could show it on my app, on my phone, but that's not how we're set up tonight. So we'll try to just answer the question if you understand what we're saying. So, okay, this question was, in one of the videos that was, they think Rick, Doc, and Fred, they heard them mention that when we run the resonance scan, which is the Blue Dot app, we see numbers next to the items that show up in the scan. The percentage shows how relevant they are now, and then the other numbers are like a code. Okay, they're not a code, they're a potency, so I want to clear that up. But anyway, they indicate what type of frequency, what level, what homeopathic dilution, etc. I cannot find any document in the back office that would give me this information. Will you speak to this and guide me where I can find this information? I haven't seen it in the back office, but there's only 2 numbers that are being referred to, and they're very specific, and Maria and I are going to cover homeopathy in the practitioner workshop. So the first number is the relevancy number, and that's how much of a match it is. And so my perspective on that, because I've been using this kind of technology forever, is that if your highest match in a scan, and this is on the Blue Dot app, let's say you did Materia Medica and aconite showed up at 44%. That's not really very high resonance, and you may not really feel connected with what it says because it's not really very high. But then let's say you go to nutrition and magnesium shows up at 82%. Then I would definitely be more, then that means it's just high relevancy. There's no other way to explain that. There's no trick to understanding that. It's just that it's a relevancy on a match to you, like your field. So if something is a low match, I wouldn't spend too much time on it. I would keep going and looking for higher matches. I mean, for me, I wouldn't even bother under 50%. That's me. I probably wouldn't even bother under 60% because that's not where your answers are. That's how I look at that. And then, Maria, what would you say? Like, is there a number that you just ignore if it's under, like, on the analyze part?
Well, this is usually what I do is I take the top one, obviously, and then if the top one and the second one, the first one and the second one are this exact same percentage, and I only have a short time with that client, then I will determine which one is more relevant to them at the moment. Which one of those, is it in jobs and learning or is it the gold cycle? I'll, figure out what that is. But when I'm taking the initial resonance scan, the top 3, I always look at the percentage to find out, you've got the top one and the second one, and let's say the third and the fourth one are both at 48%. Well, if it's me, I might run 4 programs that day because I want to make sure I'm getting everything that I need out of those. I'll go in and drill down into each of those program lists to find out which one specifically. So let's say I had chakras as my top one and my second one was fitness, and then my third and fourth had the same percentage, and maybe they were sleep and deep roots. Then I might really, go into the sleep and deep roots and find out what is it that I need out of those 2, and obviously run the sleep program at night, and then maybe run whatever showed up in the deep cycle the first. So I always look at those percentages to see how close they are. If they're a good anywhere from 3 to 10 points apart, I don't really even look at the other ones. I take the top one like Gwen does.
Okay, and for me, I do it differently. I would just ignore any number under 50. So if you do an analyze all on the Healy programs, and for me, if pain, or let's say gold cycle shows up at like 60%, and all your other choices are under 50, then I would go to gold cycle and do a scan on gold cycle, and then see what the top numbers are because that's the most relevant. I wouldn't even bother with the other 4. That's
okay.
me.
All right. That's another way to look at it. Definitely.
So yeah, it doesn't mean one way is wrong. That's the thing, is that there's no cut and dry answer. Everybody has their own way of doing things. And of course, like what Maria was saying, if I see something relevant that they're already asking me about, like pain, and that's the third one down, if it's under 50, yeah, I'm going to go there. That's a logical answer. But I just feel like that's, what we really want to cover in the practitioner workshop is pain may not be pain. Pain may be kidneys or pain, all the things that we've talked about in past calls. Pain may not be obviously pain. Something could be causing pain, like acidity or kidneys or emotions or, whatever. So I think you have to have an open mind. Okay, the homeopathic dilution, if that's like the 1LM or 1M or 10C or 30C or those numbers, the only thing that is potency. Whatever else is referenced in this question, it doesn't matter. It's a potency. And if you don't understand homeopathy, we can't teach that and answer that question on this call. We are going to cover it in the practitioner workshop. I'm not trying to blow it off. It's just an hour or 2 discussion on just understanding homeopathy and the dilution. So dilution and potency is basically the same thing. So in the question she's saying homeopathic dilution, it is that. That is what that number is referring to. And if you saw any of the advanced videos that Maria and I did one, and we talked about another one. I can't remember which calls they were. But we talk about, like, where you're trying to put in your own, I showed you guys how to put in your own remedies, and you can pick a potency. So if you don't know what a potency is, it's kind of hard to pick one. You can dowse or muscle test, and that's how I would choose a potency, unless I'm just using my experience, which is what I normally do. Okay, so the second, you want to add anything to that, Maria, on the potency?
I think that one thing on the potency that you had given me information on at one point was that C30 was sort of a middle of the road and kind of a place if somebody wanted to put in something that they wanted some type of dilution factor, that they could put that. Is that still accurate? Or did I read that right?
Yeah, like 30C and 200C are kind of both considered middle of the road. 6X and 6C are considered small and safe to do frequently all the time, and the 1M and 1LM are considered very strong, and you shouldn't do them 3 times a day, every day. That would not be how you would use those potencies. But like I said, we're going to cover that in the practitioner call and give you some more insight. And, but the thing is, it doesn't matter. If you're looking at it and this is what shows up, you would just run it, right? You can't adjust that anyway unless you're creating a custom remedy, which is definitely advanced. So
Right.
when we're seeing that relevancy and that potency, you're not meant to understand that. It's just telling you what it is. It's just like a piece of information, but you don't have a way right there to change that. So you're not trying to necessarily, I know that this question is trying to understand the potency, but in reality, there is no understanding the potency in a simple question like that. It would be taking like a course in homeopathy to really understand it. But right now, it's just information to you because it's just showing up on the little, little thing when you analyze on the Blue Dot app. Okay, so the next question is, and these are great questions because I hear stuff like this all the time, so that's why I wanted to cover them. The next question is, I want to understand what each program means and what it corrects. I don't like the word correct, so I'm going to say that right now. I found the program list document in the back office, and are you aware of any source that would help me deepen my understandings further? Also in the two-pager for deep cycle programs, it says see manual, but there's nothing in the manual on the Healy website for these. Can you point me to a source to understand these better? You have that other document in ATP 123, don't you? That it's an expanded program list?
You know what? The one that Mel did?
Mel did it, and I'm a variation of it that's very similar.
Okay. If it's not there, we'll find a way to put it there really quick.
Okay, but it's basically, some programs are self-explanatory, but this is, again, I'm not trying to do a sales job, but I am kind of trying to do a sales job. If you don't understand what the kidneys do, and that's the whole point of the practitioner workshop, and I want to say this right now because Maria and I both had these questions this week, is, people are saying, well, how much of it's going to be about the Healy? The workshop that we're doing at the last weekend of August is foundational stuff so you understand what's going on in the body. The thing is, there's a program list that says, like kidney meridian, but you need to know what the kidneys do. If you don't know what the kidneys do and what the symptoms might be, because the kidneys do everything from cataracts to gout, diabetes, and all this other stuff. If you don't know these things and have a way to learn them, there's no document from Healy that says that. Because remember, Healy has to be careful with the FDA for all of its information about what it can even do. So Healy's not going to give you some list that says, and the Advisor app is pretty close to being able to find, which programs to do for what condition. That's pretty cool, and I love it, and I highly recommend it. But they're not going to give you a list that says, okay, you have gout, run this, except for the Advisor app. They're not going to put that in print. It's on the app, and you can get that app. But basically, the enhanced version of the programs is a good place to start. But really understanding just basic anatomy and physiology, like what's connected to what all could the liver do? Like some people have nausea. Well, that could be liver. That could be other things, but most likely the liver, actually. But if you don't know that, then you're focusing on stomach and you're focusing on things that may not be the underlying cause. So if you are not a healthcare person, and even there's a lot of healthcare people that signed up, but if you're not a healthcare person, it's those basic understandings of what the body's doing and how it does it you really need to know, just even, not to be a professional even, but just to take care of yourself and your family. Do you want to add to that, Maria?
No, I agree. Everything you said, and just from a self-care perspective, being able to connect the dots. And you and I have been in the industry long enough that we can hear something and we can follow the rabbit trail back to the source. But the average person may not have a lot of that information. And that's what we're hoping to really help everybody with at the end of this month, is be able to connect some of those dots. And no, we can't teach you everything. We certainly can't, share all of our experiences, but we will have 2 days to share a lot. And in those 2 days, you'll walk away with a lot better understanding of just the body and what it's trying to say through its symptoms.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so the third question, and you can tell these are well thought out questions, but can you imagine getting these in an email and then how long this would take to respond? Because I get these all day long. I get 4, 5, 6 very thorough questions that are more like teaching medicine or teaching healthcare. They're not really specifically just Healy questions. The third one is, as regards to application time for resonance vibration application, I see there are several options. How do we determine what time is optimum? Do each time correspond to something specific? Any guidance you can share would be helpful. So we are going to teach you guys how to muscle test and how to dowse in the practitioner workshop. So of course that's my answer again. But because this question is also coming up a lot, but generally what I've heard other people say, and this is also what I believe when you're taking products even, is if you have an acute issue, you're supposed to do shorter periods of time more frequently. A few minutes, a minute, and 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 3, 4, 5 times a day. And this was sent out by email, but the person asked the question may not have been on the list then. And then if you have a chronic issue, it's considered better to do longer vibrates less often. So once or twice a day. Once a day is probably adequate. And those might be where you want to spend more time, again, based on how much time you have, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. And but I keep using my dog as an example because I don't have any health issues except my sleep, which is fixed. And I'll give you guys a great testimony on that. But with my dog, I can do a vibrate on a homeopathic remedy for because I never have an hour, never. So I might do 1 minute or 30 seconds, and he'll snap out of whatever he has going on. So I would just say, more is not better, and I haven't seen a chart personally. I know Linda and Mel both were on a call where someone kind of said these are the rules. Is that on the ATP? That might be a good thing to add too, Maria.
I haven't seen, I have seen a chart, but it's not on our ATP 123. So I will see if I can locate that. It might be in the frequency files with Cindy. She might have something. So I'll look for it.
I can probably resend it to you too if you need it, because I know that it was typed up from that one call that someone did out of Europe.
Oh, perfect. Yes, send it.
Okay, so let me make myself a note. Acute. So that was the one that was acute versus chronic. Okay.
And you think about something that's been around for a long time, like a sprained ankle is acute. Gout can be a chronic condition. So if you think about acute, it's like the tissue hasn't been that way for very long. So it just needs a little bit of nudging here and there to get it back to where it was. But if you have rheumatism or something like that, that's a chronic issue. And that joint might be, really stubborn. It needs to hear something a little bit louder, a little bit longer, maybe a couple of times during the day, but not quite so frequent as that acute issue. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think too. And I would say do it for 5 minutes. If you don't see a change, then do it longer. To me that part of this, some of you have to remember that we're like me and Maria are maybe 20 years ahead of you in knowledge, but we're only 2 months ahead of you with the Healy. So right. We have not been using it for years either to say this is our perfect world. This is how we use this on every person, because I know I haven't used it the same on the cases I've done. I mean, I don't know if you've come up with a routine yet, Maria, or not. Are you still figuring it out?
I'm still kind of figuring it out. I've got a little bit of one, but yeah, basically I'm still figuring it out too. Every person's a little bit different and bringing something new to the table.
Okay. The next question is similar, but I'm going to ask it because it is being asked a lot on email. So for the Pink Dot app, the same question, how do we apply the microcurrent for the whole duration? How can we decide for how long? How many programs can we apply in a given day? These are basic questions that we have covered in past calls, but basically it's the same answer. How much time do you have? If I have 3 hours at night to run the programs, and there's basically 3 I do every night, I run the whole thing. If I don't have 3 hours, then of course I can't, so I might just do 20 minutes each. And my testimony is, I was in San Antonio this weekend. I took my Healy, and but I hadn't had time to do it because I was playing with grandkids and, you know, running around like a crazy person. And I was in bed with my granddaughter who kicks and who moves around like her aunt Jennifer. And she's very restless in bed, and there was just no way to sleep with her. And we're like in a full-size bed, so you can imagine me, her, and 2 dogs. So 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm just like, this isn't going to happen. And I had run no programs on me. Plus, she was restless. Plus, the room was much warmer than it would be in my house. I got my Healy, turned it on, put it on sleep, the balanced sleep, and I don't even think it was 10 minutes later I was sound asleep, and I didn't wake up till the next morning. So it finished running. Now, before that, there was no way I was wide awake. I wasn't even close to sleepy. So it was just one of those days. I didn't have time to run anything, but I needed to sleep, so I did it. And then the next morning I woke up, got up at 7, felt fine. So it's one of those things that sometimes you just have to go, how much time do I have right now? You know, and when I've said the story before, but when I was driving to Colorado, I did more than 7 hours, like one program after another on me and then my dog. And, you know, I had lots of time because I was sitting in a car, not doing a million other things. So I think the question depends on your situation. There's no magic rule there, and there's nothing I've seen in print that says this answer. Right,
And if
Maria?
if you're a practitioner and you're actually doing some treatments or some sessions in your office, remember you're getting a session because the Healy itself is putting out frequencies into the room. So you're getting frequencies too. And so if you're running somebody on regeneration or recovery with muscles or something like that, you're also getting that. So take that into account too, that, you know, if you're a practitioner and you're doing this, you're getting double whammy, double benefit.
Hey, Maria.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, Maria, I just sent over the acute and chronic formula for success on your phone, so you guys
Perfect.
have it.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thanks. Yeah, that's good. It saves me time too. Okay, and then the last question on this one email is, finally, is there a document that points to any programs that may be contraindicated with a person's pre-existing conditions? This question has actually come up a lot this week in different variations. So there's not a program contraindicated, but there's certain conditions contraindicated not to use the Healy with microcurrents, and that would be pregnancy and pacemakers and other, I guess there's other electrical kind of devices besides pacemakers that is listed. Just yesterday, I got the question because it's not on the contraindication page, but in the little booklet you get with Healy, it does mention heart disease specifically. Now, it's weird to me that's on the safety note where there's a warning, but it's not on the actual page where there's contraindications, which is page 4. On page 6, it mentions specifically heart disease. I didn't know this till yesterday. So what my feeling about this is, there's people out there, and I'm not trying to tell you to do it or not do it. I just want to tell you something. Healy has a responsibility to their company for liability reasons. And they have to say, you know, in the analyzed mode, you're not connected to anything, so I would go for it, you know, as long as the person's not, like, too far gone to where you can put them into a healing crisis. And I have had some people this week that are in a healing crisis, and I know from their symptoms. They don't have a flu or cold, but they just basically feel like crap, and they overdid it. They did too many programs, excited to get the Healy, and they did more than was recommended, and they weren't drinking water. So I'm like, drink lots of lemon water, rest, you know, you just have to work through it because that's the liver dumping toxins. There's no way to get around that, so just don't overdo it. You know, follow what we're saying. Start with one program. You know, I would say, like, someone emailed me, and their husband has pancreatitis, diabetes, sleeps most of the day, has no appetite, and he sounds like pretty bad case, like chronic. And this is not a person that you want to just turn on your Healy and do 7 programs. This is a person who's not healthy and is toxic, in my opinion, and probably needs professional help, to be honest. And so sometimes it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to, you know, make an appointment with a health practitioner and get some extra guidance, especially with, you know, that kind of case. Or if someone has heart disease and they are taking, you know, 10 medications a day, I mean, of course, anything you should do you should be careful. But I want to share this because you guys are going to ask me this question. The one with the heart disease, they went to their doctor and they asked if they could use the Healy, and he said absolutely not. But did the cardiologist even know what a Healy is, or was it the kind of cardiologist that says, no, you can't take anything, you're on blood thinners, you can't even take vitamin C because it's a natural blood thinner? I mean, everybody has to have common sense and think for themselves. But if you go to most doctors that say you don't even need vitamins or you get what you need from what you eat and they don't ask you what you eat, I would run personally, because that person has no idea. But you have to listen to your own conscience, your own guidance, and use common sense. If someone is a person who's just in fear a lot of fear, then be careful. Do things very slow, see how you react, do something else, see how you react. Don't overdo it just because you're excited to get the Healy. Do you want to add anything on the contraindications or any of that, Maria?
I just want to say, make sure that you're okay with stopping the program. If you feel like intuitively, or you muscle test, or you douse that, okay, we need to be done off of this, either if it's yourself or someone else you're running, that whatever frequencies you got are super beneficial because your body was taking in what it needed. So if you have to stop a program midstream because maybe all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I'm going to have diarrhea, I better run to the bathroom, maybe you should stop that program. But at the same time, you're not missing out because you didn't run the rest. You got benefit because you added in what you did. So I think we need to really get off of the whole, I got to do the whole program. Yes, the whole program is full and complete on its own, or whatever you're running. But for you at that moment, it's more beneficial to say, I just need to be done with this now. I don't feel good with this anymore. Or if you have a client that says, I just don't feel this is helpful, stop it. Go ahead and press stop and move on to something different, or be done for the day. It's okay to stop.
Yeah, perfect. And I agree. And I want to also add, I don't know how many of you read the little booklet. I know it's kind of small, but it actually does have good information in there about getting started and scanning the serial number and the Connect screen. It even says what to do with multiple devices and stopping the treatment. And on page 13 of that little booklet that says instructions for use, there is a troubleshooting section that if you're having certain issues, that it tells you what might be the problem. So, I would also say, besides all the things I send out, if you're not on my email list and someone else told you about this call, you can send me an email. I'll put it in the chat, but it's Gwen, Gwen, @gf, like my last name, ia.net. And then you'll know when we're doing these calls, which is basically every week lately. Okay, next question is about the watch. And maybe, Maria, if you're in the back office, could you show this on the screen since you're already in there?
I'm not,
This
but
is a watch.
Can
you not do it? It's okay.
Hi, Gwen.
Yes?
Before you move to the watch, may I quickly ask you a follow-up question to what you just said?
Yes?
Would we be able to do, I know somebody just mentioned that when we are doing Healy, and if we are in the room, we are also getting the frequencies or the sessions. But that brought a point, like, would we be able to do the Healy for somebody who is not in the room, like who is remote? If we have resonance?
Not on the microcurrents. You can on the
No,
blue
on
dot.
the resonance. I meant on the resonance.
Yes, of course. You can do it. They can be anywhere.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Okay, so it's a watch question, Maria. If you know the answer to this, you don't have to pull it up on your screen.
Okay.
Okay, so the question is, how long has the watch been taking? And I said 2 to 3 weeks because I haven't had anyone wait too long for a watch. Do you know any differently on 2 to 3 weeks?
I think it's less than that, but yeah, I'm on the side of a little bit longer because we know that the watches are they're starting to sell. So.
Yeah, okay, and then when does the monthly subscription start? And I said, you have to wait 3 months. I mean, you don't have to pay again until 3 months if you buy the bundle, but see, in the back office, it depends on what you're buying. So this question is kind of open-ended. And is the bundle still $84 a month if you pay the subscription on the bundle? And I'm not sure if $84 is with or without tax, but it's in that range. I haven't even had to start paying for mine yet. It hasn't shown up on my credit card. And I got the watch last.
you start paying on the 4th month, and I think it is 84, and then whatever tax is, they're still going to charge tax. So I think that when you pull it up in your shopping cart, or when people have, it's like, or not, I guess that isn't, it's more like when you pull up the digital nutrition, that's 95, it comes up to 102. So I think you got to add a good $10. So,
Okay. And then,
but it's on the 4th month. You start paying on the 4th month.
yeah, that's what I told her. That's what I thought. Okay, so then, and it's in the 84 range, right? If you do the bundle, but it's more expensive if you buy them individually.
It is. If you buy them individually, it's like $150 for all 3 subscriptions monthly. But if you buy that bundle, you get a screaming deal. You get all 3, the connector, the Heal Advisor search app, and the digital nutrition for that $84 to $89, $90, where normally the digital nutrition is $95 alone. So that is the way, if you're going to get a watch and you want to have the digital nutrition or the Heal Advisor, that's the way to go, is to get the bundle.
Okay, so that's good. Okay, so the next question is, how current does a photo have to be for scanning on the analysis? Because the second part of the question is, what if you used old picture, but then you got COVID or you were injured after that picture was taken? Would it reflect the new information in the scan? This is actually a great question, because I get so many questions that people are like thinking about every possibility I tell you. I'm going to tell you what I think, and then Maria can share what she thinks. So I think the more current the picture, the better. But the picture is still a hologram of you. It still holds your information. So I don't know why someone can't get a recent picture because of all the, selfies, and, all you have to do is snap a picture, send it by text, or take it from your phone camera log, because that takes like 1 second. I don't know why someone would be forced to use an old picture. That doesn't make sense to me, because either on their end they can snap a selfie, send it to you by text, and you load it into analysis. But I would go with the newer picture. There's a lot of people that don't understand that the picture is really the key, because someone was asking me, another question came up today, that on a Samsung, that if you wanted to change, and not if you wanted to change, but if you wanted to add the date of birth and analysis, you had to go back on the calendar. Like if you were born in 45, it takes quite a long time to hit back on every month of 1945. Well, you don't have to do that. If you just click on 2020 on the calendar on the Samsung or Android, it will bring up the thing that scrolls to the year. So you don't have to sit there and hit the back button. That's not what you have to do.
The year is placed right above the month. So if you click on the year, which is 2020, if you just touch that, it'll bring down your drop down for all of the years.
Yeah, but what I was going to add to that is, in the instruction manual, it says that nothing is necessary except the name and photo. So if you want to add the date of birth and the place of birth, great. But if you don't, the instruction manual says they're not necessary to do an analysis scan. But do you have an opinion, Maria, about the photo and why?
Well, I have 2 trains of thought on that. I think current is always better. Current DNA, current picture, current information. But like you said, really, it's the resonant, it's the information field, it's the bioenergetic field of the person that we're tapping into. The informational field is going to have different data in it. I think whether it's an older picture or a newer picture, I think a newer picture is just better, because your intention is, this is the current person, this isn't the 5-year-old person, this is the 14-year-old person or whatever. But the bioenergetics of the person, the blueprint of the person doesn't necessarily change. The information in the field does, though. So I think that can be definitely changed. I've on some of my machines, I've only put the birth date, the name, the birth date, and the place, and had great results with broadcasting. That's not including a picture or any DNA. So again, Gwen and I were talking about putting together an advanced, just for quantum work with the Healy. So we probably will do that. But yeah, I am definitely a proponent for newer information if it's available. But if it's not, you're still tapping into that person's quantum field. It's still their blueprint.
Yeah, that's basically, I agree with everything you just said. Okay, the next question is about the workshop. This person registered and downloaded GoToWebinar, I guess, on their tablet. Is there a way to switch it to your computer? You guys it just matters which email you use. If you can access your email from your phone or tablet, I wouldn't recommend doing it on your phone because you're going to want to be able to see the screen. But whether it's a tablet or laptop or desktop, you just have to, on the day of the webinar, which is on the last weekend of August, you just have to go to the link that's sent to your email, and wherever you can open that email, you can get into the workshop, and you want to make sure you have audio. So you want to make sure that you either dial in. We're using GoToWebinar for a few reasons that has advantages over Zoom. And one of them is that we can set it up in 5 sections so the recordings are not so long. Also, they hold my recordings forever. Zoom recordings, as far as I can tell, do not save forever. So there's just a few reasons we chose Zoom over, chose GoToWebinar over Zoom. And the registration process is very easy with GoToWebinar. But wherever you can open email is where you're going to get the links to participate that weekend. That's also going to be how you can be able to print handouts. And that's a good thing. We'll talk about this way more when we get closer. But that Friday night of the first night of the workshop is when you're going to have access to all the handouts. And you are going to want to be on some device that you can get to a printer. You know, so if that's not your phone, then don't get on your phone, because that night when you get the handouts, you're going to be able to download them and print them, and you're going to definitely want to have a printer available. It's not required. You can download them later, or you can save them to your computer and print later, because we're going to be showing things on the screen. But you're definitely at some point, in my opinion, going to want to print everything to have a hard copy. Okay, so
Going back to the picture, Gwen, in chat, someone says, what if somebody is sick or ill? Would you use a picture of somebody in better health, or would you pick a picture of where they are now?
I would take the picture like what's more recent.
Yeah, I think it's all about the intent on seeing that person and sending that person healing. So whatever that is in your world, I mean, if you have a picture that you want to see them vibrant, or if the picture that represents you, that person is in need and you are the helpmate, you are the one that's generating something that's going to be healing, then I think, you know, the more current picture, it really is your intent.
Yeah, and then the next question, and then we'll go to live questions or chat questions, is will the workshop be recorded? I get that question a lot. It is going to be recorded. You will have access after the fact. And so if you can't make part of it, or sometimes, you know, like when I did the Hannah Kroger courses, I took it 3 times. I mean, and every time I learned something new, because the first time you listen to the information, you're going to be thinking about you and your immediate family members. This is always what happens. And then the second time you listen to it, you're going to think outside of that, you know, maybe friends and more extended family. And then the third time, you actually can learn something, you know, because I know for me, whenever I learned the basic stuff, I was like a maniac taking notes, like thinking, how am I ever going to remember all this stuff? And then ultimately, I ended up teaching Hannah's coursework. And I know I have it all in my memory. I have her whole book in my memory because I've looked up things so many times. So yes, you're going to have the documents, everything we show on the screen, you're going to get a copy of. You're going to get the recordings that you can download and go back and watch. And so you're going to have lots of ways to utilize information, you know, past the time of the live weekend. Okay, so do we want to go to the chat then, or do you want me to just help people unmute themselves?
There's a lot in the chat. There were some questions about the watch. Let me find them really quick because we were talking about that. Someone said that it's 84, we're saying 84, but in hers it said 91. Well, that you have to take into consideration your tax. They're still going to add that. So that's probably the discrepancy there.
Hey, Maria, before you go to the bottom of the list, go to the very top, though, because these are about what you were actually talking about. So, like Joyce asked, when you say business center, does it mean a committed builder in the front line, or does it matter, you know, like, what's your definition of a business center?
A business center is anybody who signed up to be in the back, have a back office. That is a business center. So even if you were in to take advantage of a coupon and you brought your daughter in and she's not going to work the business, that's still a business center. It may drop off if she decides not to do anything, but it's still a business center. So any place that's taken that has a back office on our binary genealogy is a business center. They're not always committed, but sometimes with Spill, they will be.
Okay, and then Deborah says, why place 3 on the team leg and not place them alternately? Having to do with what you said earlier.
Well, you want to create every team, every leg to be a team leg. That's what your goal is. That's what's going to make the whole matrix fill in and be something that's duplicatable down the line. That's what we want, is we want duplicatable. Yes, you can go left or right, but you really want the team leg to generate so that everyone will start building out and in. But after that, after you place people, yes, you're going to want to start putting more people down on your personal leg. Let me give you an example. So my left leg right now is awesome. My right leg is a little bit stalled, and not from Cindy's group, but my actual right leg. And that's because they either are waiting for their Healy to arrive, but they do have people in the wait. So hopefully they're on the call tonight, or I will get the information to them that when they get started, we want to make sure that we're placing people on the right and left so they have their business centers, but then really start building that team leg, because that's going to be generated for them. When you have a team leg that is generating more and more without you, you won't have to babysit that leg as often as you will the other one. It's so much easier to focus on one leg than 2 legs. So that's why I always say, if you have points left over after the dual bonus is paid every month, yay, because that's like what in the car business they call that sandbagging for the next month. You have points that are already available to you the next month, but you know where you need to work. And so if we can get one leg that's really strong and really vibrant, then we're only have to really focus on that other leg, which helps those team members because that's their team leg. Hopefully that makes sense.
Okay, so the second part of that question is then, so to be active, they only need to make one purchase one time?
In order to be active, they need to be building a business. So that business center has to be creating something productive underneath it. They have to be building and generating some type of volume every month.
Okay, and then there was a question about being confused about frontline. Frontline means anyone you personally sponsored.
Correct. Anybody that you personally bring in really is, you get that matching bonus, that 10% matching bonus on what they get paid for their points. So it doesn't matter if they're your 50th person down that leg that you sign up, they're still your front line. They're still your sponsored business center.
Yeah, so then she asked, is it unlimited? And I would give you an example. I have over 100 people in my front line, like direct. So it's 100 wide, but when you look at it on the binary thing, it's not wide like you would think, but they're all my personal frontline people. So, I don't think it's unlimited as far as I know, right? No one said you can only have so many people.
Nope, it's unlimited. That's what makes it the hybrid binary.
Okay, and then this question always comes up. All of my Zoom calls are recorded and sent out after the fact. If you're on my email list, you automatically will get the recording. Okay, and then another question. Do you lend out the Healy Gold, Holistic Health, or Holistic Health Plus?
I right now only have the Holistic Health. I don't have a Holistic Health Plus to send out. So I'm lending out the Holistic Healths.
Yeah, I think if you're doing it, I think it depends on what you can afford, because they would all have benefit. They would just have more programs. Okay, and then Deborah asked, do the points on your downline's personal leg count for your binary?
Yes, you get to count all the points. That's what's so exciting about binary, is all of the points generated from any business centers that even you did not bring in count for your binary points.
Okay, so these are good questions for clarification, I think, because everybody always listens, and depending on how much you know, like to me, I know binary is like a foreign language. It's like speaking Greek. And every time I hear Maria talk about it, I learn something. So this question is, if a person only brings in 3 people, like you were talking about on average, and they put them on the team leg, how does anyone get on their personal leg if they only get 3 in?
Right. So you have, so that's why step 1 is to put someone someone on each leg, get a business center going on each leg, and then bring people in on that team leg. If you taught that person that you brought in on your personal team leg to do the same thing, that leg's going to grow with or without you, because you've taught them that they're going to bring someone in on their team leg and their personal team leg, and then put a couple more people on that team leg, which is your personal team leg. So again, it's a way to make every single leg a team leg. If everybody brings in an average of 3 to 5 people, then that's going to happen if we're teaching this over and over. And again, we want a duplicatable system. We want to be able to bring people in and go, this is the way we do it, and here we go, and it works.
Yeah, so the next question, I mean, these are like really basic, but so even if we never build out our personal leg, we can have a successful business and nice income, and the answer is no, because you're
No.
getting sales, but you're not continuing, and if you don't work in the business and continue to do something, she was talking about, this is just the average of what people do. She wasn't saying if you only do that, you're going to be super successful. That's two different things.
Yeah, and the binary, the dual leg bonus that gets paid out monthly, that is based on the point value in your shortest leg. So if at some point you get to 0, guess what you're going to get paid? 0. You have to have both legs working. That's how the company will stay in business. So if you decide to bring in people and then you step back, but your people move forward, then yes, you'll have a nice income. But you got to train them how to do what they're going to do.
Yeah, so I want to clarify, when she said the average is what people do, that's not what Maria and I are doing. We're working on this business, and we're obviously doing way more than that. But she's
Right.
just saying that what the average person does in any multi-level marketing situation, but that's not what we're recommending. Okay, the next one is, well, it's basically this person's asking you to explain compression. So what happens with the dead legs, and basically what Maria has told me is they fall off after 12 months. Basically, that's called compression. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, all the points just roll up to the next available person that gets that. So I don't know if the business center actually leaves or it just becomes a dead space. I'm not sure how this company is going to do that because we haven't seen that yet. So after a year, if the person does not pay the renewal fee or didn't qualify for a free renewal fee, then I'm not sure exactly how Healy, if they roll up the specific position, maybe Tammy knows this, if the position is completely eliminated or if it just becomes sort of a dead spot and the points roll up from there. I'm not sure.
Okay, and then the next question is it better to have a second device, which is used exclusively for Healy? I would say it depends on if you can afford one. I mean, what I hear a lot from people complaining is that they'll say, they're like going in and out of the app constantly because they're constantly getting texts and phone calls and WhatsApp and Telegram and all these communication things and being on Zoom calls. If you're having a hard time with Healy navigating between all this stuff, like, for one thing, one tip is if you're downloading a microcurrent app, which takes about a minute depending on your Wi-Fi, you cannot get out of it for that to download. If you don't finish the download and you go out of the app, it's not going to finish downloading and you just, basically your device is going to turn off. That is not a glitch. That is normal. If you go out of the Healy app, you have to be able to know how to close your app and navigate to go back in. So if you're a person that's constantly checking messages, checking Facebook, checking other social media, you're getting Instagram posts, then a second device would probably be better for you because then it can be dedicated to Healy and you're not going to be so frustrated. But it's not really the Healy that's the problem. It's understanding your phone seems to be the problem from people I talk to because they just have no idea about going back and forth between apps and what's happening there.
Yeah, and I think that is the case. I think I find that too, is that a lot of it is we've upgraded from our phones and we don't really know how to use them yet. So, and I have an Android, so I'm a little bit dumb when it comes to Apple. I'm learning because I have a lot of people who have, iPhones. So I'm learning about them more and more. But a lot of times it's just that we don't know how to run our phones well.
Yeah, and okay, so basically, if you can afford one, get one, and you don't need a second phone. You can just get a tablet. I would not. Someone I know did buy a cheap Amazon tablet, I guess it's an Amazon brand tablet. I didn't even know there was such a thing, and they couldn't get the apps to download. So I don't know if it was a kid tablet or what this tablet was. It was like $69 on Amazon, but it didn't work. So I would just say, and they had to return it. So I would just say, check the app. I mean, on a Samsung Galaxy it works. On newer phones it definitely is going to work where you can download the app. So then this question comes up a lot since I said it, and I'm going to keep saying it. But Willow asked, did you tell us that in the Pink Dot app that you don't use the bracelets or the sticky pads, you just put the Healy in your bra? Do you get what you need from doing that? I don't even sometimes do that. Like the other night when I couldn't sleep, I sleep with a pillow in front of me, like, kind of holding the pillow, and I put the Healy in the bed under that pillow. Like, it was not even, I didn't have a bra in the bed, obviously. So it was just next to me, and it wasn't actually touching me. It was really under the pillow, and I was asleep in like 10 minutes. So I'll say this again and again. I have not used the straps at all in at least 6 weeks, maybe 2 months, because they're just too cumbersome for me. As soon as Maria told me that you didn't need them, that's all I needed to know. Like, and then I tested it. So all you need to do is test it. If you have something specifically wrong, it's not going to hurt not to use the straps. Just see what happens. Like, for me, it made zero difference. And also with my dog, there's obviously no straps. He's like just laying next to the Healy, and that's all he's ever done. And sometimes the Healy is between us, so it's not even next to either one of us. But if it's for the same program and we're both like sleeping great, he's doing great. So no, yes, you do not need any of that stuff. It's up to you if you want to have it, strapped onto something, but not for, I don't do that, and I haven't done it, and I don't think I will again. I just don't think it's necessary. Okay, so.
And on the other side of that, I love the feeling of the microcurrent. I know Gwen doesn't. I love it. So I've gone from wristbands to putting the electrode patches on the upper traps right on across my shoulders, because I just feel like every program I run feels like I'm getting a little mini massage, and that's where I hold my tension anyway. Plus, two of my computers have mouse pads. So if I have the electrodes on the wristbands and I'm running it, it'll mess with my mouse. it'll make it all jumpy. So I've just switched to using the electrodes on the top of my shoulders, upper traps, and that's where I run everything now.
Okay, and then Shannon says, where can I find the recording? You guys are awesome. Thanks, Shannon. So basically, if you're on my email list, every time we get these calls done, I always send the Zoom recording out within a day or two. It's not always immediate because it has to render, and I made the mistake one day of sending it out immediately, and then I got a bunch of emails. It's not there. It's 2 minutes of it's there, and it's because it didn't finish rendering. So, sometimes I walk away from the computer, I'm doing other things. So usually within a day or two, I send it out. If you're on my email list, you'll get it automatically. I don't have any other way to post it. I know this one Maria was going to put on the ATP website. I don't know if she'll edit it and take the questions out or not, but this will be on that website, plus I'll send it out to everybody. Okay, Willow has a question. So when you use the Analyze app, how do you just run the top one? You can't. Okay, so what she's asking, do you have to switch to the Pink Dot app? Okay, so this is a good question that also other people ask me. And Maria, unless you know a trick, I don't know of a trick. Okay, so let's say you run gold and you get those top 5 that show up and the numbers. And let's say the top one of those 5 is release. As far as I know, in the Analyze app, you cannot just choose release and send that one thing. You can go to the Pink Dot app and just do release. But what does it hurt to get all 5? Like some people have asked me this question before, and I've said, well, but why not get them all?
Right.
Like, why would you want to? But do you know of a way to just run that top item, or is there no way?
I don't
Okay.
think there is a way to run just that top item in the resonance.
Okay. And you can go to the Pink Dot app to run just the one program for as long of time you have. Okay, so another point question. What do we do with the points, and what are they worth? She went through that last week. So if you weren't on the call last week, there is a recording of it that also maybe she can put on ATP 123, because it more had to do with specifically the points and commissions.
Yeah, and basically the points are every time there's a purchase, there's a point value attached to, which really equates to about 60% of the retail price. So a gold is $470, the point value is $250. As you accumulate those points in your binary tree down below you, at the end of the month, the company will discern which leg has the least amount of points, and then they will pay you another percentage. Typically it's 15%. Right now we're getting a cap, but 15% on those points after they remove any commissions that you've been paid. So if you have a large team below you that's just going gangbusters, guess what? You've got a lot of points that you are going to get paid on. But both teams have to be active.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a good point. And then someone says, well, how does the dual bonus work? Well, that was also answered last week. So maybe you guys didn't get the recording from last week. If you only have on my email list this week, then I'll resend it to you. But please don't everybody ask me for it, because I sent it last week on Wednesday. So if you're on my email list, got the
Chris and I
recording.
will make sure that we have part 1 and part 2, because the last week was all the compensation, the numbers. Today was more business building. So we'll make sure that we have part 1 and part 2 up on ATP.
Okay, and this is a good question from Eugenia, because I can understand why people want to know this too. Okay, so she's asking again on the binary, what happens if I place one person on the left and one on my right, the team leg, but the person on the left just bought it, but it's not interested in to continue? What happens with the people under them?
Right, and that is going to happen, especially with all the coupons that were there. So the points underneath them will just continue to be there. That person will still get commission. So even throughout the year, if that person that already purchased underneath them decides to buy another one, that commission will be ready for that person while they're still a member during this full year. And then the points are available for that person if they ever want to step in. I have great examples of that on my left leg. I brought a lot of people in the beginning and they really needed to see it. And then once they saw it and they decided they wanted it, I had Gwen on my team, and all of a sudden I had this, plethora of points and people down below them. So they stepped into a business that was already half built. So sometimes if you have somebody that came in and they just purchased it and they really didn't want to build a business, that it can show them the potential, and then they jump in and they decide they want to sell too. So that does happen.
Okay, thanks. And one person's asking if we could stay on the topic of what we covered tonight, and we would, except there's always a ton of questions, and most of these questions are about the binary stuff. But if you have a question about the binary stuff that was covered tonight that still isn't answered, please ask it. We'll try to get to it. Someone else says, so you don't have to be a practitioner to do the practitioner workshop. Yes, that's correct, and that's a big question I get too. So this workshop is for everybody. I've had Reiki Master sign up, chiropractor sign up, there's a few doctors signed up, there's a lot of normal people signed up that aren't healthcare professionals. But you have to remember that even with medical doctors, they're taught differently than natural health practitioners. We're taught very differently than people going to medical school. So we think we have a lot to share and really get out to really anyone. We're going to try to make it good, we're working on it hard to make great information no matter where you are. It can't be so basic that we're trying to explain what the liver is specifically. We are going to talk about what the liver does and the symptoms you might have if you have liver problems, but we're not going to we're not going to have a full anatomy and physiology course, because that would be the whole weekend. Nor can we go through any topic in the detail that it might require if you were in like a regular curriculum. But we are going to try to cover it enough so that you understand the body parts and what might be plaguing you and what you can do to fix it. Not only with the Healy, but in food, spices, herbs, homeopathy. We're going to give you lots of solutions. And a lot of that does tie back to the Healy, but in some cases it won't, because if we're talking about the gut, and Maria and I were talking last night about fermented foods, the Healy's not going to give you fermented foods. So it's just something to know. But it's about getting healthy and putting all the information together. So I'm glad that a lot of people are making on the comments, they're excited, they signed up, so I'm super excited. Mary and I are super excited.
Yeah, we're so excited. There's a couple of questions here. If there's, going back to the business building, if there is spill in a leg before I place someone, does that spill go under the person I place? No. So if there is spill prior to you placing someone, your placement goes below that spill. So like if you want to bring in your daughter, if you come in and you want to bring in your daughter and you want her in that first position below you, you better get her in right away. Because if you have an active team, you could have 3 places filled before that happens. So whatever gets placed is there, and anything that gets placed after that goes underneath. If there is spill in a place, okay, so that one was that one. When someone on your leg decides to buy a subscription, how does that affect your commission? You actually retain the points from that subscription. So each subscription every month has a point value. It gets added to the leg that that person is on. So if you have someone on your right leg and they have a digital nutrition, you will get 50 PV added to your right leg every month that they retain that subscription.
I want to add something too. I mentioned on the email that we were going to talk about Master Key, so I just briefly want to say that this Thursday, Lindsay and I are making videos on how to save the Master Key, how to load your Healy device on multiple devices like iPhone and Samsung, and how to save the Master Key if you load it more than once on another device. And so all that, we're doing recordings of our actual tablets and phones on Zoom. And they're going to be short and sweet because it's going to be like, this is how you save the Master Key. This is how you do it on a Samsung. And that should answer all those questions. But I want to say that for those of you scared of the Master Key, you can go forward with the Analyze app without actually saving the Master Key. It says you want to save it now. If you say no, it doesn't explode. You just say no and then move on and use the app. But you shouldn't wait too long to save it because one person's already had their phone had to be replaced. They didn't save the Master Key. It was a sudden emergency kind of phone situation, and they had to go back to customer service and put in a support ticket for a new Master Key. So you don't want to wait too long, but it's not scary, and it seems like somehow there's the scared thing about it. So we are doing videos, so if there's any questions, any more questions about that tonight, we'll cover it on separate videos.
Okay, as somebody asking about without the cables when you're just running the Healy on the pink dot, so you're doing, you know, whatever program that is, should you go into the 60s or 70s or even 100? I usually muscle check what that percentage is, but a lot of times for me, when I'm running on something that's causatory, whether it's like immune or tonsils or bacteria, I might keep it on the low side because I don't want to just blast that person with it. I want it to just slowly kind of transmute into their biofield, their energetic field. But if it's something like energy or regeneration, I might tend to go a little bit higher. So that's sort of if it's somebody has a chronic issue and they're not feeling all that great, I would keep it low. But, you know, that's really the person will let you know.
Yeah. And a question about the watch again, can more than one watch be connected to a DNA? I do not know because I only have one watch, so I haven't tested that. Can more than one watch be connected to a Healy? Yes, because it's actually, it is connected using the connector app, but basically it doesn't matter because the watch is going to tell you what app to use on the Healy device, and the Healy device could be used by 3 family members that have their own watches. So that one's not a big deal, but I have no idea if you can have more than one watch connected to the same DNA app. Do you have any idea, Maria?
I do not know the answer to that.
Okay.
If someone knows the answer and they're on this call, feel free to unmute yourself and jump in.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Okay, and then another question, can you use Healy on someone who has mechanical heart values? I don't know what heart values means, but maybe heart valves, mechanical heart valves. No pacemakers, only valves or mechanized. I have no idea. If it was my family member, I would do it, but I don't take that as Healy is saying that's okay. I'm not a representative of Healy. I'm telling you that it was my family member, and I would definitely use the Analyze function. But a mechanical heart valve, I guess that would be in a bypass situation. Do you have an opinion, Maria?
I probably just obviously that person is super compromised to get to that place. So there's something going on, whether it's strap or something that got them into a valve position where they needed it replaced. And if they've had heart surgery and a valve, they now have kidney issues. So yeah. I would probably, I'd muscle check, but if err on the side of just being the most gentle you can with that individual that is still in crisis mode, that whole organism has been cut on, and so treat that person as like they're an infant, and because their immune system probably is. So I would probably do more of just the broadcasting with the either vibrating stuff to them or using the Healy just itself and allow that to just start penetrating their information field, moving them into, then when they felt comfortable with that, and I didn't see any times where they were tired or anything, then I might move to the microcurrent. That would just be my personal opinion.
Yeah, less is more, definitely. So be cautious. I'm not telling you just do anything. I'm saying be cautious because the person is compromised. I want to say that as we answer 4 questions, we're getting like 13 new ones, so we'll never be able to finish all the questions because you guys can think of like everything possible, which is good and awesome, but we'll have to cut off here in a minute and just go. Next week we had already decided that we were going to do kind of a just live Q&A because so many people have so many questions on so many topics that we can just help support you with questions. One of us can be on the computer back office and I can be on my phone showing the Healy apps to answer all your questions. Chris put up on here on the chat the ATP expanded program list, and she also put the another tab that is resources. So if you go to your chat and look at the one from Chris Bruntz to everyone, you'll see that she put that, but you can also go to atp123.com. Joy says, is there a special on the watch right now? There isn't, except you're getting a discount because of how the apps are bundled. It seems like it's like a $200 discount, I think, if I do the math. Okay, another binary question. Tell me, Maria, when you have to go, because the questions are faster than we're answering them. So Deborah says, if one of your enrollments drops out of the business, do their personal enrollments roll up to you?
Do their personal, I do not know that. I do not know if you become their direct sponsor or if there is no direct commission paid out to a sponsor, if the points are just, I mean, you will still get points. I just don't know about the actual, does the placement roll up to be as a personal sponsor of you if someone drops out? Do not know the answer to that.
Okay, and then Deborah says on the watch bundle, the price is showing up as $91.46, not $84. Okay, there's a difference on if it's including tax and the tax rate in your area. If you're, you know, so, and it depends on which thing you're choosing in the back office. I'm going to pull up my shopping thing in a minute. I haven't looked since I bought, but it was like 84 or close to that, and then when I checked out, it was different because of tax. So that could be a tax issue, but this person is confused because of what we're saying, because of the price.
And I think it always adds tasks based on the billing address that's in your shopping cart. So you always have to take in consideration that whatever address you have as your billing address, that is going to tack on the tax rate in that area.
Yeah, so that could be the difference depending on the tax rate.
So I'm using it, I'm trying it, and I can feel it. You know,
someone just unmuted them.
I'm doing it.
I'm going to mute them back off. Okay. So the next question or comment is some people don't want to send a current picture because of what they look like now. And I would say, I get that. Like sometimes, like if, you know, I'm just got out of the shower or if someone's really been ill, you know, I can understand, but I still think a current picture, and if you have your own device, no one's going to see your picture but you. So if it's you running you, it doesn't matter. But if it's a family member who has a little vanity and they don't want to see you in the state they're in right now, I get that. But they shouldn't send a picture from 20 years ago because that's not really, I mean, in my opinion, it would still work, but it's not who they are now.
Right.
I mean, I'm a very different person than 20 years ago in every way.
I have a question. When you first start, you don't always know if people are going to buy anything. Do you ever not place people until you know if they're going to be active? So no, this is a great place of leverage because we are so new. There's, I think, still less than 40,000 Healys that have been purchased in the United States. That's the entire United States. That doesn't even fill up a football stadium, and it's the entire United States. When they talk about us getting closer to the wave, we're not even at the water yet. We're like in the grass next to the sand. We're not even close to the water yet. So if you can put somebody in, whether they're going to purchase or not, and I did this in the beginning, I said, just get in. It's free to get in. And then as we move along, you can decide. And then guess what happens? Spill happens. And people start putting people under that person and under that person and under that person. Before long, that business center has, you know, several thousand or more points already on that one team leg that then you can go back and go, look, you know, if you start building out your right leg, if you really want to do this, you start building out your personal team leg, you're going to have an income. not only from what you sell, direct commission, but you're going to get a dual leg bonus too. So you can use that as leverage, or just from it being a really good friend, I would place them because they're there, especially if you're putting them on your personal team leg. You're going to keep putting people down there. So that you're going to keep that leg active. So that's what I would do. If you have someone that they're not sure whether they're going to be active or not, just put them on your personal team leg. And then they have a place. And then if they decide to do something, you were a really good friend.
Okay, good point. And then, someone has asked me again to be on the email list. You have to send me an email to gwen@gfia.net, because I won't be able to grab your emails from the chat. I won't have time right now. So please write down my email address and send me an email. And so another question about binary, kind of. When someone on your leg decides to buy a subscription, how does that affect your commission? You kind of answered that earlier, but can you just go over that again?
Yep, you won't get any commission on it. What you'll get will be the points associated with it. So like right now, the digital nutrition has 50 point value. So you will get that added. And I don't think that's per month. I'm not sure exactly. Well, it is. It's $95 a month. So that would be 50 PV added every single month to the leg that person is on. So if that person is sitting at a business center on your right side and they purchase the digital nutrition, you can count on an extra 50 points from that business center every single month that they have that subscription and they're purchasing it.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. There's another watch question. When someone runs the BRA on their watch, BRA is taking your kind of heart measurements, and it goes for a few seconds, and it says measurement failure. Can you please tell me what that means? That hasn't happened to me, but the proper way you do the BRA is you press the number of minutes you want to do it. So I usually choose 1.5, and then you have to put your index finger on the little metal part of your watch, and you're supposed to be still, so you're not supposed to be walking around doing stuff. And then you have to be still and keep it in place for the full minute and a half. So you actually have to be touching your finger on the little metal plate on the front of the watch, which is measuring your pulse and stuff through your fingertip. So if you're doing that and that's not working, then maybe send me an email. But I haven't had any measurement failure messages, so but just make sure that you're following the instructions on how to do that.
I have another
Okay,
question. Can I use an iPad and not an iPhone? Yes, you can use an iPad.
As long as it's a current iPad. My old iPad did not work.
Another one, do I have to sell a device every month to be active, or how does this work? Right now, they are not requiring the business centers to have that minimum of 50 PV per month. They are allowing us to generate or count points, 600 cumulative volume that's coming from both legs. Both legs have to be active, but cumulative 600 points will definitely qualify you to receive all the bonuses and commissions that you are that you qualify for. I've heard that after the first of the year, they will be requiring every business center to do 50 PV. So if you sell a gold, that's 250 PV. So if you sell one a month, you certainly meet that criteria. But if you have the digital nutrition, that is also 50 PV. So if you have a digital nutrition subscription, then your PV is covered at that point.
Okay, that's good clarification too. Another question, what if a person has cancer and is looking to restore their health? Is it better to use a healthy picture or current picture? Okay, I'm going to put this picture question to rest. Use a current picture, because the picture you're using is not what your goal is. That's not how you should look at that. You're reading the holographic information or just information of their picture in their current state, so you're trying to find the best resonance to help them. So don't think of the picture as what you're shooting for. I don't know that that would help at all. I would use a current picture or a recent picture. It can be a year old. It can be a year and a half old, but it shouldn't be, when they were young and healthy. This question keeps coming up for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I'm suggesting you use a current picture. Not current meaning today necessarily, but not old. Like an old picture to me is 5 years ago. Everyone looks different than 5 years ago. Do you have an opinion on that, Maria? Because I guess this person's asking if that's their desired state, is the vibrant picture.
Yeah, we already talked about the little bit, and I think I agree with you in its intent, but yes, don't have a, don't have a 5 to 10-year-old picture. Try to find something newer. You can usually find something on Facebook or have them do a quick selfie. But, again, you're looking at your intent. So if that's all you have, that's what you got to deal with. That's what you got to work with.
Okay, next binary question. What does it mean to be a distributor versus an active member?
Well, a distributor and a member and a partner are all the same thing in the Healy world. If you have a back office, you are all three of those. You're a partner, you're a member, and you're a distributor. Being active right now means that you have a business center on each leg that is producing, and moving. Your teams are moving forward. After the first of the year, being active means that you personally, your business center, is selling something every month or purchasing something every month. Just like every other MLM out there where they have you buy a certain number of product to get your own personal volume, Healy has not been doing that. So at the first of the year, they're going to start that. So we all need to be prepared for that. Our business center is going to require us to have either a sale, we sell someone something, or we purchase something.
Okay, clear. And then Chris made a comment that the ATP website is a work in progress and more links and things will be added. And they kind of keep coming up, like questions kind of lead to what goes on that website. And it's a great website, especially for new people. I send it out again today. I've sent it out every few days since I got the link, because for new people, it's where you should go to learn all about registering new people, how to use your device, all the stuff that we're talking about. It's like a place that Maria and Chris have put all the information and resources. And the good thing about the website is it's not like trying to get your people under Maria and Chris. There's no way to contact Maria and Chris on the website. So it's basically support for everybody. So if it's not trying to capture somebody, there's no way to shop there. It's really just meant for support because there's so many people that need help.
Yeah, the only shop we'll have on there is for swag items. Yeah, you won't be able to go in and sign up and become a Healy distributor through that site.
I think you might have just answered these questions. I don't know if these are exactly the same, but Sherry's asking is there a spill in a leg, and before I place someone, does that spill go under the person I place?
Yeah, I think you were going from the top and I was going from the middle down. So yes, I think we've answered all the questions now, and the answer to that, in case somebody missed it, was if there is spill happening and you don't get your person in before that spill, your person goes underneath the spill.
Yeah,
So
I think we did. I think we did go. I was going top and you were going to bottom. So yeah, I thought you had repeated that. I had a question come up today from Doug that I think it was Doug, and I'll repeat it. He has a guy that's like a big hitter kind of guy, like potentially a big hitter. And he's purposefully not placed him yet because he's talking to a few other people that are potentially very good also. And he's kind of using that guy as leverage because he really has a lot of potential. And then he's talking to a YouTube guy who has a ton of potential, and then a professional coach who has a lot of potential. Can you talk a little bit, Maria, just about like strategizing just that? Because I know that you said what you said earlier, but in my view, when I look at the points, I would want to put people like that on the non-team leg to balance out the points of the team leg. Would you do something differently?
Not necessarily. What I like to look at is on the team leg, make sure that again, I want to always have a place where I have one leg that I don't have to do a whole lot with. So I would definitely put people over there that are going to generate on their own, and they understand the product and they're excited about it and they have a following. But yes, then you want some heavy hitters on your personal team leg too, because guess what? That becomes the team leg for those people. So you definitely want it to be balanced, but in order for every single leg to become a good, solid team leg, we just have to put each of us, a few people on the team leg. Just as long as we're doing that, then we can go back and put everybody on the personal team leg that we have so we can help balance out. In the case that you just talked about, using that as leverage, that's great, but I would also honor too, and just have that integrity of who did I talk to first, and you certainly don't want to, use one person as leverage and everybody goes in above that person and then you put that person in if you talk to that person first. So you just want to have some integrity there and look at what you're doing. I certainly wouldn't have, more than 3 or 4 people in my queue at any one time. I certainly wouldn't be sitting on 8 to 10 people just kind of in wait. You certainly could do that. I just personally wouldn't.
Yeah, I think his leverage was more about what side, to put these people on and make sure they're on the same side, like all benefiting each other, because that spill is happening from that go-getter too, It's
Right,
the point
right.
under each person. I think that's more what he was
And he might,
talking.
and if he wants to put them on his personal team leg, he might find that that leg is the one that is going gangbusters, and then he can start working on putting people over on the team leg too. If you're in this for the business because it's amazing and people buy it and it's changing people's lives, you will not stop talking about it. So you will constantly be creating spill, whether it's now or 3 months or 6 months down the road. You're going to be talking about Healy at some point, and somebody's going to want it because they see it and they're driven to have it. So I don't think there's going to be an issue if you're thinking about running the business, at all. I think it's going to just come. So for some people, it might be a lot slower because they just don't have the gumption to go out and meet people. But if they always follow that directive of 1 on each side, put 3 on the team leg, and then start building your personal team leg, it will work.
Okay, I think that's perfect. And, okay, so what we have coming up is tomorrow night, or this is recorded, and it'll be on the ATP 123 website, and I'll send it to you by email if you're on my email list. Tomorrow night, I'm doing a weekly introduction to Healy. It's basically the same every week, kind of. It just depends on what we end up talking about with the questions, but it's basically an introduction to all the apps. So it's the Pink Dot app, the Blue Dot app, the Advisor app, the Watch app, and the DNA app. And it's just to show people what they all do and what it's all about. So it's a good introduction to Healy. If you want to invite somebody, I always refer people back to you guys. Next Tuesday, Maria and I decided that we're going to do like live Q&A because you guys have so many questions, and all new people using Healy have questions that we're just going to mostly do questions but kind of focused on, well, any question, I guess, but also troubleshooting, because I think that's kind of necessary because so many people have been getting their Healys. Next Wednesday, I'll do the introduction to Healy again. The workshop is at the end of August. It's a Friday night, Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be a full curriculum. If you haven't got that email and you get on my email list, I can resend it to you, but it's going to be basically about 20 hours or so of information, and we're going to cover a lot, and that whole curriculum is on the email. The cost is $169. It has taken Maria and I 6 weeks to put this together. So there's a lot of time that we're spending on it behind the scenes on phone calls and documents and, just everything that goes in. It takes about 40 hours to put together a weekend thing, and there's 2 of us doing it. So anyway, that's the last weekend of August. If you don't know about it already, you can also email me and ask me for the information. And I can't think of anything else. Do you want to say last words, Maria? I want to say thanks for everybody that hung 2 hours.
Yeah, thanks for everybody for hanging with us for 2 hours, and we'll do Q&A and troubleshooting next week. Make sure you send your people to Gwen's call because she's awesome. And yeah, look forward to meeting with you all again in Zoom land.
Okay, thanks for Maria, and thanks for staying on and putting together this PowerPoint because it really was awesome, and I thought it was very clear and easy to understand.
Thank you.
Ladies, this was incredible.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.
you.
Thanks,
Bye. It was
Linda.
amazing.
Thank you
Have a good
very
night.
much.
Thank you.
It was great.
Bye, good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thanks, ladies. Great information.
Thank you.